Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. And this week on Leadership by the Letter, we've reached the letter Y, and the word is yes. Here's a definition for you: an affirmative answer or decision. We all know the word yes, right? In fact, none of us want to be known as no leaders or no bosses. We want a positive atmosphere, or at least we should. And yet you heard me previously talk about the letter N and needing to say no to some things. And so I want to talk to you about why we say yes. Because the yes-no decision is really one of the most pivotal decisions we make as leaders. And to prove this, both Android and Apple have in their app store apps that you can purchase that will help you decide between yes or no. That's right, you simply hit a button and it will say yes or no, and you're supposed to make your decision that way. There is a yes-no wheel that you can get on your computer that will help you make decisions, and yet we know as leaders that's not the right way to make them. I think the first thing to do is look at why we say yes when we should not. And here are a couple of reasons. You may be a control freak. You may want to be one of those people that knows everything that is going on. Just be aware that if that is why you say yes, you're sending a message to your team that you do not trust them, especially your leaders. Because if you have to be involved in everything, then your leadership is not truly leading. You are. Trust me, if you're on a committee, even though the leader that should be in charge of that committee is there, people will value your opinion more than theirs, and your leadership is not able to step up. Secondly, some people say yes when they shouldn't because they want to be in the know. They just need to know everything that's going on. And the reality is, as leaders, we have to be focused. There are certain times we need to know what's going on. We go to our leadership for that. But generally, we need to be focused on our initiatives and visioning and what should be going on in the organization. Some people say yes just because of a need to be liked. And nobody likes a person who always says no, right? We've all worked for bosses that were no bosses. We knew before we walked in what they were going to say, and the answer was going to be no. And there's a very good likelihood if that was you, you didn't work for that boss for too long. And finally, there's the need to be needed. Some people simply need to be necessary. That's very important to them. They find their self-worth that way. It probably stems from something in their childhood, but they need to be needed. Mike Myatt, in a wonderful article I read called One Word That Will Transform Your Leadership. He's also the author of Hacking Leadership and Leadership Matters. He made this statement: where leadership is concerned, a slow yes is often more instructive and ultimately much more productive than a fast no. There may be times that you feel like your answer should be no, but the way that you say yes can accomplish the same thing. I want to talk to you about some of those possible answers, some of the things you could say instead of no. How about using this? Tell me, why should I say yes to this? That sounds much different than a no. How about before I say yes, tell me how you got to this point. What was your thought process that got you here? How about that's an interesting idea. Who else is on board with this? Or here's another. What is the downside should we not move forward? There are ways to say yes, but not fully commit yourself that encourage and inspire your team to go and do and be more. Here are some reasons that we say yes that are good reasons for saying yes. We say yes to lend our support or expertise. Yes, I'll serve on that committee, but I cannot be the voice of that committee. Or yes, I'll lend my expertise in that area. We say yes to set an example for our team because we want them to learn to say yes. I remember years ago when I was with Shaw, we had the big Shaw Flooring Network convention, and we would go down and evaluate event planning organizations. And one of those organizations, the way they would answer us is we would ask a question and they would say, the answer is yes. Now tell me the question. They set an example to us that anything was possible, and that made us believe as they believed. Sometimes we say yes in a positive way to stretch others, to help them believe that more is possible. We say things like, yes, you can. And sometimes we simply say yes because it's the right thing to do. As leaders, it is your responsibility to know when and how to say yes. But as Sir Richard Branson said, I've enjoyed life a lot more by saying yes than by saying no. Be a yes leader. Make wise decisions, set the right example, and then go out there and lead.